Man, I was actually really excited for this one back in the day. I mean, the first Mortal Kombat was good, so why wouldn't the sequel be just as good, if not better? Basically, the first Mortal Kombat was mostly based on the first game, but it had some elements of Mortal Kombat 2. So this one is based completely on Mortal Kombat 3, but there's some elements of Mortal Kombat 4. Okay, fair enough. The movie picks up right after the first one, literally. If you saw the first one, it ended with everyone at the temple celebrating Earthrealm's victory at Mortal Kombat, meaning that Earth is safe for another generation. But then Shao Kahn appeared as a gigantic wraith-like guy, and everyone was like, oh shit. Well, right away it starts there, but immediately you notice that things are different. Instead of Shao Kahn appearing as a huge ghost, he's like some bald guy in a really bad costume. Raiden and Sonya are played by completely different actors, meaning that only Liu Kang, Kitana, and Johnny Cage look the same, and Johnny Cage dies like a minute into the movie. Raiden is now played by James Remar, who not only is a much worse actor than Christopher Lambert, but has a completely different voice and presence, so it's really hard to accept him as the same guy. Sonya is now played by Sandra Hess instead of Bridget Wilson Sampras, and she also looks and acts completely differently, and once again is an inferior actress. Also, it's weird, the characters themselves seem to have changed. Raiden is less like a god and more like a human in this one. All of the mysticism and imposing presence around him is gone. In the first movie, Johnny Cage had the hots for Sonya, but she seemed to regard him rather shabbily. Actually, it seems like she thought he was an idiot, but when he gets killed, she freaks out and screams and cries and acts like her husband just died. Weird. Well, I guess someone had to care about Johnny Cage because the rest of the characters he seemed to forget about him within 5 minutes. I'm not sure if it's true, but I heard that the actor who played him hated the script and wanted to be killed off, so I guess he took the easy way out. One other immediate thing you'll notice is that the special effects are way worse. Everything looks cheap, like it was made for TV. They must have either had a much lower budget this time, or they blew their budget on an impossibly large cast. So anyway, let's get to the story. Even though Outworld lost the Mortal Kombat tournament, Shao Kahn is able to resurrect the former Queen of Edenia, Sindel, who somehow lets him invade Earthrealm anyway. Why he didn't do that in the first place, I'm not sure. Along with Sindel, he's got a bunch of other baddies as his generals. There's Motaro, Shiva, Ermac, and Rain. Rain seems to be in charge, but that doesn't last long. Shao Kahn kills his ass for sparing Earthrealm warriors. Shiva, Motaro, and Ermac argue over who should be in charge, but he puts Sindel in charge. Anyway, somehow Kitana is supposed to be the key to stopping Shao Kahn from merging the realms, so her and Liu Kang go off somewhere, but they get attacked by Smoke. Sub-Zero shows up and kicks Smoke's ass, but he's not the same guy as in the first movie, he's the younger brother. Then Scorpion shows up. Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight, but Scorpion manages to snag Kitana and leave. Sub-Zero just kind of tells Liu Kang to go Bleaugh, and Liu Kang winds up searching for Nightwolf, who can help him unlock his animality, which will somehow help him beat Shao Kahn. He meets Jade, who at first attacks him, but then says it was just a test and helps him. Meanwhile, Sonya goes looking for her partner Jax, once again played by a different guy, who now has metal coverings on his arms which enhance his strength. They get attacked by Cyrax, who manage to beat him and escape. Raiden goes to the Elder Gods and is like, dude, WTF, but they're like, you mad, bro? Basically, they say there's nothing they can do about it, but they convince him that if he cares about humans so much, he should just become a human, so he does. I don't know why Raiden thought this would be a good idea, as they didn't promise him anything in return, so basically, he's giving up his powers for no good reason. It turns out one of the Elder Gods, Shinnok, is the father of both Shao Kahn and Raiden, and he's behind everything. At first, Shao Kahn seemed like a badass when he appeared in the last scene of the first movie, and in this one, he's diminished greatly, but at least he starts off as intimidating. But then as soon as Shinnok shows up, he's basically reduced to a whiny kid vying for his dad's approval. So the good guys all congregate and rescue Kitana, but Jade betrays them, which they probably would have figured out from the fact that she was literally shifty-eyed. I don't know if it was the actress or just the way the character was written, but she was a terrible liar. Raiden is pretty much an idiot, so he gets killed, and then it's time for everyone to fight everyone else. Liu Kang fights Shao Kahn, Jax fights Motaro, Sonya fights Ermac, and Kitana fights Sindel. The fight with Liu Kang and Shao Kahn is awful. Liu Kang does his animality and turns into a dragon, but then Shao Kahn turns into a hydra and just kicks his ass. The only two characters that were slightly interesting in this movie were Sonya and Jax. Sonya had an issue with asking people for help, and Jax has a problem with confidence. So Motaro rips the metal parts of his arms off, and somehow he gets confidence out of nowhere and beats Motaro without the enhancements, and Ermac spits out Noob Saibot out of his chest, and they double-team Sonya, who finally asks for help, and Jax fights off Noob so Sonya can finish kicking Ermac's ass. Kitana forgives her mother, she regains her humanity, which banishes Shao Kahn from Earthrealm finally in a spectacular display of really, really bad special effects. Shinnok shows up, but the other Elder Gods subdue him and resurrect Raiden, who make him an Elder God. The problem with Mortal Kombat Annihilation is that they didn't realize that less is more. Instead of keeping with the tone of the first film, which had a few easily recognizable characters, this movie makes the same mistakes that Street Fighter did, trying to fit as many characters in as possible. Basically, the whole cast of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is present, with very few exceptions. A few, like Kano, Shang Tsung, and Reptile, were killed in the first movie. So really the only ones missing were Sector, Stryker, and Cabal. But they mentioned Stryker and Cabal, meaning that Sector is the only one who's truly absent. With so many characters, plus Shinnok from Mortal Kombat 4, there's no characters who have enough time to be developed. And really, you don't need that much character development in a movie like this. The first movie had minor character development, and it worked fine. But the issue is that there's hints of developments, especially with Jax and Sonya. Characters like Rain are wasted without doing anything. Actually, Rain pretty much appears in 2 scenes and has that many lines. Ermac was always a huge favorite of mine, and man, does he suck in this movie. He just kind of poses in the background until the fight with Sonya, where he's treated as leftovers. What a disgrace. What's worse is the way this movie was promoted. I remember before seeing it, I read an interview with Sandra Hess, who was playing Sonya. She was talking up the movie way more than she probably needed to, even going so far as to say that it was a way better film than the original, and that the first Mortal Kombat movie was bad compared to this one. I don't know if she was really that delusional or if they gave her a trash bag full of money, but wow! The other thing I found hilarious was the tagline. The first movie's tagline was "Prepare yourself," and this one was "Nothing can prepare you." Well, they were right. Nothing can prepare you for how unabashedly absurd and poorly thought out this mess of a movie is. If I had to say one nice thing about the movie, it's that on occasion it can be funny, especially the Jax character played by Lynn Red Williams. He wasn't much of an actor, but he at least had some comic timing. There's not a single actor that I would praise for their performance overall, and the script was nothing but pure lunacy. It's no wonder that the third planned movie, Mortal Kombat Devastation, never got made, though now they're planning on doing a reboot to the series on the back of the success of the web show Mortal Kombat Legacy. If you want to watch a good Mortal Kombat, stay away from this one and stick to either the first movie or the web show, which you can get on DVD. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is about as bad as it gets. 1 out of a possible 10.